Hey, how's it going, Falcon community? Today I wanted to talk to you about the Ford Falcon ownership experience. Um, I'm going to really tap into the third gen owners. So, for third gen Falcons, those are from the years of 66 through 70. Um, I believe, I'm not sure, I believe they made the 70 model year in the US, but I know 66 through 69 specifically in the U.S., and that came in variants of 2 and 4 doors. Um, so as we go into these, I want to kind of talk about some of the power plants. So my car originally came with a 289 two barrel. It was a Futura Sprint. It was a vinyl top car, 289 two barrel with a C4 automatic 8-inch rear end, and it actually had the factory front disc brake option and power steering. So my car did have that originally. Um, so just from owning this car for a number of years, let's see, this July will be 20 years of owning this car. This was actually my first car, believe it or not. So I've been through the complete journey with this car, what the way the car is now, and when I post videos on it now, is not what it was like when I had the car. The car's condition when I first bought it was actually in really good condition. It was a garage kept car, and it was primered gray for about 18 years before I actually had the chance to get it painted. So I can talk more about that maybe in a later video. So here are some of the experiences that I've had throughout the years. So I'm going to say for third gens, it's often mistaken. People don't know what it is at the gas station. You'll run into people saying, is that a Dart, or is it a Duster, some kind of Plymouth or Mopar? And so I've heard that multiple times. It kind of gets old after a while, but of course I'm patient. I understand. People are just trying to figure out what it is. So that's one thing. The other thing is, a lot of the folks that say it are actually a little bit older, that like came in the generation where these cars were actually on the road. So when I hear them say it, I'm like, oh, I just kind of, sometimes I'll mess with them. I'll jab at them a little bit just because I'm like, if anyone should know what this car is, you guys should know. But anyways, for the most part, it's a conversation starter. So very little support, especially for the third gens. A lot of times you'll see companies and performance entities, they'll make suspension components, they'll make a lot of parts, interior trim pieces, body panels in certain cases for 60 to 62, which is the first gen to my understanding, and the smallest Falcon. That was the original starter. Then 63 to 5, which was the second gen. Now, in my opinion, that second gen is the one that everybody loves. That's the one that everybody, when they think of Falcon, you really kind of think of that particular one. You'll find parts for that, but when it comes to third gens, you're pretty much like, the best places will tell you is, well, try the Mustang one and see if it fits. We can't guarantee it, or we've heard of other guys using it for those Falcons and they were able to make it work. So at best, for a lot of years, a lot of times it was, you get the Mustang or the Cougar component and you make it work to your car, or the Fairlane. I'll throw the Fairlane in there. Also the Mercury Comet, which I think this car is almost the same thing as the Mercury Comet, the Falcons were. One thing I will say, and I caught on to this about 4 or 5 years ago, is that Facebook pages and Facebook support is very strong, especially for the third gens. We have several pages dedicated to the third gen Falcons, and I want to give a shout out to the guys on those pages, and just let them know that, hey, I kind of go through the same challenges and struggles that you guys with, as far as getting this car off the ground, getting support, trying to convince companies to make stuff for this car. Another thing that I want to talk about is prices. Prices of these cars are starting to go up. That's inevitable. Things never really, except for newer cars, they depreciate, but classics, they typically go up. But for this one in particular, I'm finding that a lot of people are snatching up Falcons, and because of the internet, social media, a lot of people are jumping on them, and they're just literally Now you're starting to find rusted out buckets that people want a few grand for. Back in the day, you could get a decent roller that was garage kept, especially here in the West Coast, Southern California, out west where the weather is nice. Good condition cars, 1,500, 2,500. It wasn't uncommon. And I feel like those days we've kind of transitioned from those days of seeing those type of prices. Another thing I wanted to touch on was a lot of the reasons that you'll hear these companies say, well, we don't make it for the Falcon is because obviously there's not enough support, there's not enough demand. We don't have, we'll lose our end on it. And I just say, I understand that as a business model for a lot of companies, but then also you have to understand as companies or businesses, entities or whatever, you have to try and be prepared for what's next. And you have to be innovative. You have to take risks. A lot of these companies are risk averse and they don't want to do anything if it's not safe, which I understand that. But at the same time, you got to take risk. Otherwise things never grow. If I wouldn't have took a risk, my car wouldn't have got to where it is now. I had to buy a lot of stuff and make it work. So that I went through the headache. So, that knowledge that's gained from a customer, I want to share with with the community in general and just kind of make it known. So that way, these cars, as they come online, become more popular, we'll just have that information. What I've seen a few of, I also want to touch on, I've seen a few LS swaps on these, mostly on Facebook pages. And, my personal opinion on it is if you're a car person and whatever floats your boat, I don't care what you put in it. You know what I mean? Now, am I a purist? In some ways I am. I respect it and I could appreciate it and acknowledge it. But in other ways, I just know that that's not the reality. The LS, I don't care what you say, is a good engine. For me, I chose the Windsors because that was the same engine family as the 289 and it was the biggest bang for the buck I could get at the time. Now I've since seen Cleveland swaps or cleavers. I've seen 460s. There's a couple of you guys who have big blocks in there. Me personally, if I was going to do a big block, I would have to probably eliminate the shock towers completely. So for me, I think it's just going to be a big Windsor, high compression, solid roller, E85 and nitrous. And that's it for me for now. I feel like once I start making close to 4-digit power, 1,000 horsepower, at that point, I'm building an all-out straight line car, like a drag car. And so I would be interested in potentially picking up a first gen or even a second gen, preferably probably a first gen that's already had all the cage work done. It's already had the tubs. It's already had the Mustang 2, all that stuff already done. And if it's a roller, hey, I'll pay market value, buy that car, and then build a big block or something with some turbos, something where we have room in the engine bay. But for now, I'm happy with kind of where I'm going. Of course, budget's always constraints in anybody's project. So I also want to give some shout outs. So for one, Steve Schultz up in Hood River, Oregon. Thank you for that hood. It went on the car really nice. And as you can see, years later, that's it right there. So Steve Schultz, for sure. Thank you. Internationally, I want to give a shout out to Russell Eden in Australia. As far as on any internet site, I don't know of anybody bigger or anybody who posts more or has more of appreciation for these cars. And I know as far as my opinion for Fords, this is Australia's national car. This is that's the perception I have. Is this their national car? As a matter of fact, I believe they made the Falcon all the way in Australia up and through 2016. So they never stopped making this car. So I acknowledge it there. I acknowledge Australia and Cleveland's. You guys don't mess around when it comes to horsepower. And Cleveland's, you guys don't play. I've seen countless videos of just streetable Cleveland's making upwards of 800-900 horsepower, and you guys drive it on the street to the track and then back to the house. So want to give some acknowledgement there. And then a couple pages, Ford Falcon Restomod, Ford Falcon Sports Coupe, 68 Ford Falcons, California Falcons, 66 through 69 Lost Falcons or U.S. Ford Falcons, all you guys. So that's pretty much it. I want to kind of get this thing going as like a YouTube channel. for like the Windsor family, the Ford small block genre, the Falcon genre, any kind of genre that I can get going. If you guys got some ideas of stuff you want to see, please let me know, because right now my editing isn't where it needs to be to fully make a channel, but I have enough content. Like I got the cars, I got that kind of stuff going, and I live in an area where I can get to car meets and kind of see other people with their cars. So just let me know what you guys want to see, and signing off for now. So I definitely appreciate you guys, and yeah, we'll just keep rolling on with this Falcon stuff and see where it goes. All right, peace.